Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome as our special festive guest, Michael Tinker. Hello, Michael.
Ho, 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 ho. So that was the most festive thing I could think of on the spot.
That was quite festive. And you are wearing a sort of festive jumper.
I'm wearing my Battle of the Planets Eagle festive jumper, which if there's not a picture, well, maybe there will be a picture that people can see.
There'll be a short there'll be something.
Excellent.
Anyway, hopefully we'll be able to show off your jumper so people know what you're talking about. But anyway, some people might not know who Michael Tinker is. So who is Michael Tinker? Who are you? What do you do?
Who is Michael Tinker? Oh, wow. This could be picked apart, whatever I say. So fundamentally, let's give the right answer. I'm a child of God. Yes. But it is true. I am husband to Joe and a father to Eleanor, Jonathan, and Benjamin. And various other relationships. Forgive me if I have missed you out. And as well as doing all of that, we live down in Somerset, so just across the water from you. And I spend most of my time writing, recording, and performing music, mostly for kids and families. But I also do. I've just released what I call my grown-ups album. I have to call it that to differentiate it from kids' music, so people know I can't call it an adult album. It just sounds a bit wrong.
Oh yes.
So it's my grown-ups album. So that's mostly what I do, really. Tour that around, produce videos, and all the other stuff that goes with it.
And if any listeners want to invite you to perform near them, you'd be very happy to hear from them. And you can do both kids and grown-up shows.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm booking throughout 2024, so and possibly even worldwide. There's conversations with people in Australia and the States and South Africa, so might be coming to a country near you.
An international tour. That's very exciting.
That's it. Yeah, world tour.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for coming on our podcast. I say our podcast, it's just me, but thanks for coming on my podcast. Makes it sound like we've got like a production team when actually it's just me with a laptop.
Yeah.
But we've got some questions that I ask every guest who comes on, and so we'll go through those. Beginning with, what is your favourite festive food?
I have so many favourite festive foods. I do love food. I love Christmas food, but I'm going to say sprouts. I love sprouts. I hated them as a kid, and then at some point it changed, and I love sprouts. Not too soft, not mushy, also not too crunchy, just a little bit in between. Big fan of sprouts. I don't think people are a fan of it afterwards, but do
you remember the moment where your attitude to sprouts changed?
No, I must ask my mum about this, whether there was a point, because it definitely sprouts is one of those things that kids really love to hate. And it is a strong taste. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. When I became a man, clearly matured.
Yes, it's a ritual, isn't it? That we all have to go through at some point. And do you have like a preferred way of serving sprouts? I know some people like to cook it with bacon or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Have you not tried that?
No, I did a couple of years ago. Somebody, when we were at my in-laws, they started doing bacon and chopping up these sprouts, and I said, "What are you doing?" And it was some Jamie Oliver thing. It was fine, but I'm good. I'm just good with sprouts.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and Jamie Oliver's got a lot to answer for, I think, with Christmas food. But we'll go on to the next question, and talking about music, which is very appropriate as you are a musician. And I'm interested to know your favourite non-religious Christmas song.
So again, I have a few, but I'm going to go Blue Christmas, Elvis. On a blue Christmas without you. So I've got that on vinyl, and the last couple of Christmases, so my youngest is very keen on Christmas. He's now 9, and he's been wanting to do Christmas for the past couple of months, and I've been trying to hold him off, but he found Heart Christmas Radio about a month ago, so he's been playing that. And so I've lent him the record, so he's playing that each night before going to bed. And in the mornings, though, once it's December, then we'll play it in the morning as we get up. We'll have a listen to a bit of Elvis Christmas. So it's become a little bit of a soundtrack to Christmas for me and my youngest, particularly. But then it'll be followed closely by anything on the Charlie Brown Christmas record by Vince. I can never know how to say the guy's surname. Guaraldi. Anyway, he's the guy who did all the Charlie Brown stuff.
Yeah, because you're the third person. I don't know what order these episodes will go out in, but you're the third person to mention that album, and none of the people who've mentioned it can pronounce his name.
Well, it's one of these things that nobody's ever you won't have heard said, I suppose.
Yeah.
Apparently, I did hear at one point it's the best-selling jazz album of all time.
Is it? Wow, that's good.
And it is really good. There's some great tunes on there. Each Christmas I try and learn one of them, but I basically end up trying to learn the same one each Christmas on the piano. I'm not that much of a pianist, but I do try and learn it, and then by the next year I've forgotten how to play it, so I have to relearn it again. Yeah, it's a good album. Go get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's a promotional thing for that as well. That's good. But while we're talking about music, because you have a Christmas album that you released a few years ago. There's another promo thing. Go and get it.
Thank you.
Available in various places, digital download or CD.
Mainly on my website. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just imagining that recording a Christmas album would be quite a fun experience. Was it a fun experience? What did you most enjoy about doing that Christmas album?
It was a fun experience. So we did it during lockdown. An anonymous person very kindly gave a chunk of money and said, go make something, which is just a delightful thing for a musician to hear. And so I was like, okay, I haven't made a Christmas album, let's go do it. I'd done a few Christmas songs on some of the previous albums, so we reworked those, so re-recorded them, updated them, and then got the chance to write some new ones. I mean, I love making the kids albums in general, because it's an opportunity not only to tell kids about Jesus, which is obviously the number one thing about it, but also musically just to go anywhere I like, genre wise. So one of the most fun things to do was go, I wonder how the angels actually sang. We always imagine them as nice choir boys or girls or whatever, and it's all very I just thought, hang on, we've no idea, maybe they did funk. So we wrote a funk song called The Heavenly Choir, and based it on sort of Funkadelic Parliament, if anybody loves their funk. Basically Muppets, any of the early Muppets films, that's the kind of stuff. And that was a lot of fun to write that and play that, and it took some work, and so again, that adds another level as a musician when you've really worked at something, and it's come out good. So that was fun. And then drama wise as well, so I always do a bit of drama, and so writing a bit of storyline. So Dr. Von Pumpernickel, so this is all on a spaceship. The last 3 albums have been on a spaceship, and he's the chief engineer, but you don't really let him try and fix anything because he'll probably break it. But as it turns out, he's trying to fix the toaster because it only cooks one half of the bread. You know what that's like. And so he tries to fix it, but ends up making a time machine out of it. And so they go through the Christmas story while cooking bagels and various other bready products. So that was a lot of fun as well.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. We've been listening to it over the last week. So we're recording this in November, but still, I think it's fine. It's an album for all year round, because the good news of Christmas isn't just for Christmas. See?
And that is a big thing with the album. So because we've got a time machine, we actually start at the beginning of time, much to Mr. Grumpy's confusion, because we start with Adam and Eve, and he's like, well, hang on, because the promises. So we trace the promises through. So you're right, it is an album for all the year, especially because the wise men didn't turn up for 3 years anyway. So
Just one very quick question before I ask the next question, because you mentioned the Muppets. Do you enjoy Muppet Christmas Carol? Is that your favorite Christmas film?
Oh, I don't know if it's my favorite Christmas film, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, Muppets, it generally can't go wrong, but more so with the older stuff than the newer ones. But
Yeah, my view is that it is objectively the best Christmas film, but we can discuss that more later. But we'll come on to decorations.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to know your least favorite Christmas decoration.
This is such an English podcast, isn't it? Let's get grumpy about Christmas. But definitely my least favorite, coloured fairy lights.
Okay.
All the rage in the 80s, possibly going into the 90s. I don't do. I just like simple, kind of not bright white, kind of just nice golden lights. And the worst of coloured fairy lights are those kind of neon blue things that you use to see if there's blood on the floor in a crime scene. Those things are horrible. You have to wear special goggles to go into a house like that. So
they're useful if you do have a crime scene in your house, though.
It's very true. Or you discover that there is a crime scene when you didn't realize there was one beforehand.
Exactly. So I imagine there are quite a few houses up and down the country that every year only discover a crime when they put their Christmas lights up.
So that's what happened to the dog. Yeah, exactly.
So, and we do welcome correspondence on this podcast. So if you have discovered a crime scene in your house as a result of putting up Christmas decorations, then please get in touch and we'll share your stories. But please contact your local police first. Final question, and this gets to the heart of Christmas and the story that you tell through your Christmas album and in other contexts, I'm sure as well. The good news of the Saviour born for us, the King who's arrived. Who is your favourite person in the Nativity account, not including Jesus?
Another great question. I think I'm going to plump for Joseph. Now, funnily enough, I'm trying to think if I mentioned Joseph on the album. It's possible I don't. I need to write a song about Joseph. Bless him. There is so much going on around him, and he just has to kind of watch as the Son of God is born and navigating an awful lot of craziness and potential shame and all of that kind of thing. The trust that he has in God and his wife is just brilliant. And we hardly hear from him, and after that we hardly hear from him. So I want to give Joseph a shout out.
Yeah, that's good. He is someone that we don't get much of, but there's actually a lot that we can probably learn from that and from his trust in God in that very unique experience that he had. Okay. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you for joining us for our podcast today.
Pleasure.
And we hope, I say we again, I hope that you have a very happy Christmas.
And to you. And to all a good night, or something like that.
Something like that.
Do not be afraid. We bring you good news that will cause great joy for the people. Down in David's town, a Savior you will find. He is Christ the Lord of the people. He's the Messiah. Anointed one, he is the King. He is the Lord of the universe. He's the Messiah.
Ho ho! Merry Christmas!